The FDA announced a potential cause for the sudden string of hepatitis-A cases in the country, organic strawberries. So far, a majority of the cases have been in California. NTD's Jackie Rios has what kind of strawberries should be thrown away and what people think about it.
Officials with the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, are investigating a hepatitis-A outbreak, potentially linked to fresh organic strawberries. To stay safe, here's what you need to know. The FDA announced that any consumers who bought and later froze strawberries between March 5th and April 25th may have potentially dangerous fruit. The two listed brands were Fresh Campo and HEB. Stores including Aldi, Kroger, Safeway, Sprouts, Trader Joe's, and Walmart sold the fruit nationwide. The FDA recommends that anyone who purchased and ate the strawberries in the last 2 weeks and who hasn't been vaccinated against hepatitis A should consult or visit with a healthcare professional as quickly as possible. At the Good Fortune supermarket in Los Angeles County, employees said they hadn't heard about any cases. Customers already had the right idea.
So if I were made aware that the strawberries are contaminated, I would either take them back to the store or throw them away.
I would probably just throw them out and go to the store and get a refund.
I would throw them out, do the same thing. I would not want to keep them in my house.
17 cases of hepatitis A have been documented nationwide. 15 of those cases were in California. The FDA has not warned against strawberries being sold right now. Only frozen strawberries may still be affected, as the potentially hazardous non-frozen fruit have since expired. Jackie Rios, NTD News, Los Angeles.
While Memorial Day weekend was a vacation for many, it was a busy time for California Highway Patrol officers. Despite reminding people to keep their eyes on the road and hands on the wheel, officers still made hundreds of arrests for traffic violations.
Every Memorial Day weekend, the California Highway Patrol enacts a maximum enforcement period. This lasts from 6 p.m. Friday to 11:59 p.m. Monday. During this time, CHP officers patrol the state, monitoring the roadways for seatbelt violations, distracted drivers, speeding, and anyone suspected of driving under the influence of drugs or alcohol. But despite reminding Californians to follow traffic rules, officers busted 891 people for driving under the influence over the weekend. And according to the CHP, 15 people have died along California's roadways since the start of Memorial Day weekend. CHP Commissioner Amanda Ray said, "Memorial Day should be a time for honoring our fallen heroes and spending time with loved ones. It should never be marked by tragedy caused by car crashes. Please buckle up, follow all traffic laws, and arrive at your destination safely." Fortunately, this year's numbers are down from last year. In 2021, CHP officers made 979 DUI arrests and reported 35 people having died in crashes during last year's Memorial Day maximum enforcement period. Last year, 63% of vehicle occupants killed in crashes were not wearing seatbelts.
California is poised to adopt a medical misinformation bill. The bill is aimed at targeting alternative treatments to the CCP virus, also known as COVID-19. One doctor speaks strongly against the potential law.
The California Legislature is set to pass Assembly Bill 2098, described as a medical misinformation bill. If passed, the new law would prohibit doctors from freely providing medical advice and treating their patients if those practices run counter to the official state-sanctioned position. Beginning in April of 2020, government medical organizations and officials have urged against the use of alternative approaches to treating the CCP virus, also known as COVID-19. The most notable alternatives are hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin. Since late 2020, Dr. Syed Haider has focused on prevention and treatment of the CCP virus by providing exactly those alternatives. Haider told the Epoch Times, "We're always getting closer to the truth, but we have never arrived at a final truth in medicine. Doctors have to be able to take multiple different sides of an argument." He said that since the bill restricts certain information, it begs the question of who decides what is the truth. Hyder additionally provided information about protocols for COVID and vaccine injuries through his online initiative, mygotodoc.com. If AB 2098 becomes law, any doctor who prescribes ivermectin can lose their license to practice medicine in California, even if the patient asks for it. Hyder said the precedent that would be set is California gets to become the proving ground for new legislation, not just in medicine, but in everything.
The Golden State's primary elections are coming up, and the race for California's U.S. Senate seat is heating up, with the debates over topics like crime, vaccine mandates, and the border crisis. NTD's Jeremy Sandberg has more.
California's primary election will take place on June 7th. The state uses a jungle primary system. It's a free-for-all system that includes all candidates regardless of party affiliation. The top two candidates with the most votes will face each other in November's general election. Democratic Senator Alex Padilla is campaigning in two separate races for the same U.S. Senate seat and is endorsed by House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and California Governor Gavin Newsom, among others. Newsom appointed Padilla to fill the Senate seat left vacant by Vice President Kamala Harris in 2020. In order to keep that seat for the remainder of his current term ending in 2023, he must defeat 7 opponents in a special election. For the next full 6-year Senate term, Padilla faces over 20 challengers in the top 2 primary election. Candidates include 6 Democrats, 10 Republicans, and 4 independents. Republican frontrunners in the race are Mike Moiser, Cordy Williams, and John Ellis. Moiser is campaigning on fighting for parental rights, local control of education, and cracking down on crime. Padilla is facing increasing criticism from Republican candidates. He has advocated for immigration reform, lax border security policies, and sanctuary cities. He also pushed to end Title 42, decrease funding for federal immigration enforcement, and increase social safety benefits for illegal aliens in the Biden administration's infrastructure plan. A harsh critic of former President Donald Trump, Padilla calls Trump's border wall racist, offensive, and an expensive failure. Padilla's Republican opponents don't see the enforcement of immigration laws as a racial issue, but instead a legal one hinging on the rule of law. On the topic of vaccine mandates, Padilla has called for a more aggressive campaign to get school-aged children vaccinated against COVID-19. Padilla has pushed for vote-by-mail ballots, automatic voter registration, same-day registration, online registration, and expanded early voting. California's major cities have seen a sharp rise in crime, drug addiction, and homelessness, issues Padilla has been mostly silent on. Many law enforcement agencies and critics have blamed the policies of progressive district attorneys and criminal justice reforms. Cordy Williams has suggested Congress may need to get the FBI and DEA involved to reduce crime in California. In the gubernatorial race, Newsom is running for re-election after winning a recall election in 2021. He is expected to serve a second and final 4-year term. Republican Brian Dole is being touted as his most prominent opponent. Also up for grabs in the primary are the positions of mayor in Los Angeles and San Jose, and district attorney in San Francisco. Jeremy Sandberg, NTD News.
We have been following the eaglet Spirit since she was still in her egg. After months of growing in her nest in Southern California's Big Bear Valley, the young bird finally took her first flight today. Let's take a look.
As the sun began to rise early Tuesday morning, Spirit, the bald eaglet, looked out across Big Bear Lake in Southern California. After a few moments on the front porch, she took her first flight away from the nest. Friends of Big Bear Valley operates a live stream of the nest. The organization says Spirit fledged this morning at 5:49 a.m. She started out like every other morning, stretching and flapping her wings, but this time she just let go of the branch and took to the skies. Friends of Big Bear Valley say Spirit will likely come back to the nest soon. It could be tonight, it could be a couple of days. We'll just have to wait and see. She will continue to hang out in the area for another month or 2. During this time, she will follow her mother, Jackie, and father, Shadow, around and learn from them. Once Spirit feels ready, she will set off on her own great adventure.
Disneyland announced a limited time ticket offer for California residents. It's only valid this summer.
California residents can visit Disneyland or Disney California Adventure for as low as $83 per person per day. The 3-day, 1-park-per-day tickets start at $249 for admission on Mondays through Thursdays. Weekend tickets are as low as $299 or $100 per day. Park hopper tickets can be purchased for an additional $60. Guests can purchase the limited-time tickets starting May 31st. California residents may redeem their tickets on any 3 eligible days from June 13th to September 15th. For the summer season, Disneyland is bringing back its Main Street Electrical Parade, fireworks show, Phantasmic, World of Color, and more.